Hello everyone, and welcome to May the Word Be With You. Today I'd like to go through a little bit of a discussion about what sin does to us. This discussion is not going to cover everything related to sin, just the original impact that sin has on our lives, back from the beginning of the creation up to now. To start out, let's look at Genesis chapter 1 and verse 26. God said, "Let's make man in our image, after our likeness. Let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the birds of the sky, and over the livestock, and over all the earth, and over every creeping thing that creeps on the earth." In the beginning, God created us to be in His image and to rule over what He had created. When we were made in His image, what does that really mean? What did that say about us? What did that say about God? That's the first thing we want to consider as we're trying to figure out what does sin do to us. So before sin, we had this idea of God's image and our image. God's image was represented as what is perfect, what is good, what is eternal, everything that's holy and righteous, filled with compassion and love. These things make up God's image. And when God created us, He said that He created us in His image. That means our image was the same as God's image. We were created perfect, holy, blameless, without sin. That means we were the same as God. There was no difference between us other than the fact that we were something created and He was our creator. But that didn't last. If you'll turn to Romans 6, verses 20 through 21, we get a little bit of a part of discussion about sin. Here's what it says: "For when you were servants of sin, you were free from righteousness. What fruit then did you have at that time in the things of which you are now ashamed? For the end of those things is death." At some point, sin entered our lives, and we became servants of sin. And here we see that becoming a servant of sin means being free from righteousness. That freedom from righteousness is a clue to just what sin does to us. Again, before sin, God's image and our image were completely the same. There weren't any differences between us and God, other than the fact that we were the created and He was the creator. We were made for good, we were holy and blameless and righteous, just like Him. After sin, though, we became free from righteousness. When we were freed from righteousness, our image was no longer the same as God's. God was righteous, we were free from righteousness. Now there's some kind of disconnect between us and God. He is still holy and blameless, free from sin, just, merciful, and loving. But our image was spoiled. Sure, there are times that we could be merciful and loving and kind, but no matter how much of that we did, we still had sin in our life. We had something in our lives that God didn't. Our image was different from His. And because our image is different from God's, we have to ask ourselves that question again: what does sin really do? The first thing is it changes our image. It changes who we are after. Originally, we were made in the image of God. But if you'll read John 8:44, you'll find a place where men are described as being children of Satan. We were then in his image instead of God's image. Another thing that sin does is it brings us death. We were promised death for sinning, and for sinning we have death. If you'll read Genesis chapter 2 and 3, you'll see that whole story of where death entered the world. Now, thanks for watching this video. As I said before, this isn't discussing how we get rid of sin or anything like that. just looking at a basic examination of what sin did to us. If you liked what we talked about here, feel free to check out more on May the Word Be With You. We're currently reading through the New American Standard Bible, and I'll be uploading more discussion videos as we go along. If you like this video, feel free to comment it, like it, subscribe, and help spread the word. And pretty soon, I'm going to be putting up a video on how to get rid of sin. Looking at the other piece of this, we've talked about what does sin do to us, and now let's see how we can rid our lives of that sin. Thanks again so much for watching, and have a wonderful day.